Hi, it's Mark Gunther from the Energy Collective. I'm very pleased to be joined by Kirk Edelman. Kirk is the President and CEO of Siemens Financial Services. He's been in that job since May 2010. He's talking to me from Iselin, New Jersey. And before that, Kirk was with Siemens Energy Finance business. He's very familiar with the energy sector. He's an engineer with a degree from Bucknell and an MBA from Wharton. Kirk, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us a little about Siemens Financial Services. What is it that you do?
Siemens Financial Services is the financial services business of Siemens AG, the parent company in Germany. What we do is basically provide financing solutions to both captive customers as well as non-captive customers.
So you actually lend money to people who are buying capital-intensive Siemens products, but as well to others who may not be doing business with Siemens.
Exactly. One of the misconceptions in the market is that a company like Siemens Financial Services is strictly tied to financing transactions involving Siemens equipment, and that's not the case. It's a big part of our business, but we do non-captive as well.
And are you investing your own money, or are you kind of a broker between people who have money to lend and others who need it?
Generally speaking, it's our own capital.
Okay. Now, I know Siemens is, a big player in such energy businesses as, gas turbines. I know you do wind manufacturing here in the U.S. Are there other areas of the energy business where you provide financing?
Yeah, absolutely. We basically look at energy and we divide it between power, electric power, and oil and gas. So that's probably the two large subsectors that commonly fall below energy. And then below those, we have subsectors as well. So we basically invest in almost any energy-related infrastructure type of project.
Okay. And I know you're in a quiet period. We won't talk numbers, but generally speaking, how has business been in this past year, particularly in the renewables sector? There's been a lot of negative headlines. Are you finding plenty of infrastructure projects to finance?
Yeah, Mark, we have the luxury of having a parent company that's done very well. We do have capital to invest, so we're able to invest during a period where a lot of the more mainstream commercial bank type lenders and equity investors maybe are pulling back somewhat.
Right. The banks are said to be cautious at the moment. That's true even in this energy area as well.
Yeah, I think so. And that kind of ebbs and flows. But right now, as we're speaking here today, there seems to be a little bit of a drawback because of activities involving financial services in primarily Europe.
Oh, okay.
That is causing some of these institutions to maybe be a little less aggressive than they have been in the past.
And what sector have you seen your most significant growth in, let's say, in the past 12 to 18 months?
I think, generally speaking, we've done a lot during that period of time in renewable energy and also in oil and gas. Those are two very large growth sectors that we've been involved with.
And how so, oil and gas? Are you involved in the shale gas boom that we're hearing so much about here in the U.S.?
Yeah, the oil and gas business is largely a commodity business, largely commodity price driven. When oil prices are high, you see a lot more activity, and we're able to take advantage of that.
Okay. And renewables, which particular sector there?
Well, it should come as no surprise. Like everyone else, we've done a lot in wind in the last year or two, a lot in photovoltaics. I think those are probably the two biggest sectors, most active sectors.
Now, there's a lot of interest in the climate issue as well as the energy issue in our audience, and there's so much policy uncertainty surrounding climate here in the U.S. What's your general outlook going forward for the renewables business? Is there going to be projects that get developed, and will you be able to finance them?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's been a lot of talk lately on the future of renewables, particularly wind, and to some extent PV, because of the changing regulatory environment, the fact that the Treasury grant program in the United States is coming to an end, the fact that PTCs are in question, and all of that basically introduces uncertainty in the financing market,
Right.
which in turn affects the amount of deals that we see coming to market.
So you may see something of a slowdown going forward, at least for now, while the policy picture is up in the air?
Exactly. I think once the policy picture is clarified, then developers can make plans. Right now, I think a lot of people are basically on the sidelines waiting to see how this all sorts out.
One last question. We often don't talk much when we talk about renewables or energy about efficiency, and yet we read all the time about the huge opportunities there. Financing does seem to be one of the obstacles to getting, efficiency to scale in commercial and industrial buildings, and I've heard about some new ventures lately. Is Siemens involved in that at all, or do you intend to be?
Yeah, well, when you talk energy, you can't not mention Siemens, because we are a very big player in almost every aspect of energy and energy efficiency. So we have an operating company called Building Technologies that is their business, is to make buildings more efficient. That's all they do. So we're involved with it from the parent corp company's perspective, and then from the financing perspective as well. It's quite natural for us to be very active in the spaces where we have an operating company presence.
Okay. Well, Kirk, thanks for taking a few minutes, and also we want to thank Siemens for participating in the Energy Collective webinar that's coming up later this month.
Terrific. Thanks, Mark.